So, Nelson, you are saying that your African kingdoms were more advanced, right? Of course, our Black African civilization were far more advanced. So, how come did they defeated this African civilization if you are claiming that they were far more advanced? Well, I want you to check your history. When they first came to Africa and they realized that it is going to be impossible for them to defeat the African civilization because of how powerful and strong it was, what did they do? They went back and invent weapons that are going to be much easier to take away a human life and to destroy humanity. So that was the reason. So why didn't your African civilization also invented these weapons if you claim that they were far more advanced? Well, it is because our ancestors were not built that way. Black people are not built that way in seeing the destruction of humanity. Our ancestors were adding value. They were always looking for a means to add value into humanity and not looking for a means or trying to invent things that will instead destroy humanity and take away another human's life much quicker. So that was why my ancestors didn't even have time in doing those things. Hello, family. You're welcome to African People's Business Podcast Show. And if you're just coming new, my name is Nelson. You can stream or listen to the audio podcast of this on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and any other podcast platforms that you will love to listen to this podcast on. So, in today's video, I want to tell you the dignity of our African civilization. Hello, family. You're welcome to the show, African People's Business Podcast Show. And like I said, you can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and any other podcast platform that you would love to listen to this. All right, because we are spreading the word. So now, if I may ask this question, why do you think weapons were created? Some people might tell me that weapons were created for someone to defend itself. But I'm going to tell you that that is a lie. When it comes to me, I don't think weapons were created because humans wanted to defend themselves. That is a lie. Like, who are humans defending themselves from? From their fellow human beings, right? Which it doesn't make any sense. Why should humans be defending themselves from their fellow human beings? Except there are some other human beings that are full of crap and always want to take advantage of others. And guess what? Black people are not among those other humans that always want to take advantage of others. We are built different. Just in case you, as a black person, you are not aware of this, then I am here to tell you today so that you should clear all doubt that you have in your mind about your ancestors and be proud of yourself. All right? Because you are built different. You are built in love. That's what I want to make you all to understand. Now, weapons were created to easily suppress other human beings. That is it. Weapons were never created to someone for human beings to defend themselves. And it is really sad that we live in a world where the people with the most dangerous weapons are being glorified, are being looked upon as having far more technology than other people. Okay, let me just say countries that have some very deadliest weapons that with just a push of a button or just a uh, typing of a computer, half of humanity might be destroyed. Some people choose to look at these actions as badass action. Like if you see a country that is having these kind of weapons, the country is known as, a badass country. Our country is badass. We have weapons, we have nuclear weapons, we have things that can easily destroy humanity with just a twinkle of an eye. And according to humanity, that is glory. Our black ancestors built their civilization by what God gave them, by their natural talents, by their natural power. And that was why you will never see or heard in our black history that a black nation or a black kingdoms try to conquer another black kingdoms in order to confiscate their lands, to destroy other people's culture. Well, I'm not saying that we are saints, but you are rarely going to see this. Even in this our modern day, I talked about this before in my previous podcast. Even in this our modern day, it is very, very difficult to see a black nation rise up against another black nation because of selfish reason. One of the reasons why these weapons that can easily take away humans' life without any stress was created, it is because of some group of people to oppress another group of people. But our African ancestors were not never had this kind of mind. That is why you never hear in our history that our ancestors, despite of them having the most advanced civilization, because even in the Bible, it states that civilization started in Africa, and our ancestors were the ones that started the very foundations of civilization. But you are never going to see or hear in our history that some African kingdoms rose up and tried to look for other humans to enslave them, or to look for other humans to bring them out of forced labor for them to come and build their civilization for them. No, they had everything that they need. So why would they need another human? And besides, they are not built like that. They don't see pleasure in the suffering of another human beings like them. All right. That is the dignity of our ancestors. That is the dignity of you descending from these people. There are so many things that are going to be added onto it. All right. And when it comes to me, I don't even see the invention of weapons as human advancement of technologies, because one, what has the inventions of these weapons brought to humanity? What good has these weapons brought to humanity, if not only destruction, if not only sorrow, agony that these weapons has brought into humans life? And I'm very, very happy that my ancestors were not partakers of this. All right. Just so you know, as someone of African descent, I am very, very happy that my ancestors were not partakers of these evil acts, of these evil inventions. You're going to see a nation that doesn't have any, let me take for example, it doesn't have a nuclear weapon. That nation will be seen as weakling. But the ones that have all the nuclear weapons, that have very dangerous weapons that is destructive to humanity, those are the ones that people will be hailing. But let us face facts, all right? Any nation, especially in this our current days, that doesn't have all those things and is built out of love, like African nations, they are more powerful than nations that are having destructive weapons that is going to be destructive to humanity. Because even when we want to look at the creation of the universe, when God created the world, He created the world and gave man instruction to take care of the world, not to destroy it. All right, to take care of the universe, not to destroy it. Now, I'm not trying to say that my ancestors were saints, but you're going to see these characteristics most in black people. Like, look at the world today. The wildlife are going into extinction, but you're going to find it in Africa, in other parts of the world. Wildlife, forests are being destroyed, but you find all these same things in Africa, still in its natural state that God created it. Why? Since from the beginning of our ancestors, we were never built in seeing the destruction of humanity or the destruction of nature. We were never built like this. We were built to protect nature, just like from the very first day that God created this universe. So I'm doing this to enlighten my people more, for you all to understand who you are. All right. That is why I really love if you all follow the podcast show on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, for us to be connected. All right, because there is still more things that our ancestors that you all need to be aware. As someone of African descent, you need to be aware of your ancestors, so that, because some of our people might be having doubt. All right, they might be saying, well, because of my ancestors didn't create some deadless weapons, maybe my ancestors were not great. It is not the creation of destructive weapons that makes someone great or that makes a civilization great. No, it is that civilization adding value to humanity. That is what makes that particular civilization great. Now, In our next podcast, I'll be letting you all know the contributions that our Black ancestors, our Black civilizations contributed in the development of modern humanity. Now, I want us to be remembered not as people that destroys humanity. No, I want us to be remembered as people that added value into humanity, because love is the greatest strength you are going to find in humanity. Even when we study our Bible, they said it there that nothing beats love. That is why it is more easier for someone to hate another person that for that person to be loved. All right. It is more easier for humanity to be destroyed than for humanity to be preserved. So if our ancestors, right from the very day one, preserved humanity, it shows that they had more power than the people that are destroying humanity, because it takes more power and strength to love and preserve something than to destroy something. So that is what we are going to be discussing on our next podcast. And I don't want any of you to miss this particular topic that we're going to be talking about on our next podcast. All right. So this is the message that I said, let me pass across to my people for you all to understand who you truly are. All right. So you're welcome to African People's Business once again. And this is a podcast show that you will find on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and on any other podcast platform that you love to listen to podcasts there. And if you're just coming new, my name is Nelson, and I am your brother here from Africa. So I'm going to be seeing you all on our next video / on our next podcast. Have a nice day.